Hello, happy birthday, Taurus. Welcome to your weekly forecast for May 18th through the 24th. We're going to see what's happening the week ahead for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising with this lovely deck here. And then we're going to pull a spirit message for you all from this lovely deck here. So without further ado, my darlings, we're going to go ahead and connect and see what is coming up for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This last week of Taurus season, not even a full week, a few days we have left coming into Taurus season, and see what's going on for you guys. We got retrograde planet action going on. We've got the Scorpio full moon that passed. That energy is still lingering for some people. So we're going to see what's coming up for you guys. What's going on for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. One more shuffle here. All right, Taurus, without further ado, let's get right on into it. And your first card, my dears, is the King of Swords. So some of you could be dealing with an air sign. If you have air in your moon or your rising, this can definitely be a part of yourself, a part of an aspect of your personality, or aspect of yourself that you're pulling on here in the week ahead as you're coming into decisions. The King of Swords for me is a card that'll come up a lot of the times when there's some kind of negotiating that's going to happen or that's about to happen. And you're kind of having to take the lead. You're having to step into this role of leadership. The King of Swords is going to be about, you've done your planning. Now it's the time to take the steps, right? You've done the thinking, you've done the planning, and King of Swords is about action. The really great thing about King of Swords is, though, when it comes to negotiating, he's really, really good at finding the win-win kind of solution. So Taurus, if you're finding yourself this week having to negotiate something or having to kind of try to come at it into a compromise, reach a compromise with someone, and you're very unsure of how to approach it, or you're just kind of like, I don't know if they're going to go for it, or I don't know if they're going to see it my way. King of Swords tells us you're going to have the most success if you can focus on the common ground, if you can focus on the similarities. What do you both have in common? What are the things that you both want? Because if you can go in leading with that, you might be able to kind of maybe like disarm the person a little bit, right? They're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, Taurus sees things my way, or Taurus gets where I'm coming from, right? Like, so here's what I'm getting out of the situation. You might want to lead with that. But overall, King of Swords is really good at figuring out win-win situations and solutions and finding the common ground and building from there. This can also sometimes indicate something happening with an attorney in terms of going to an attorney for guidance, for advice. That there could be a legal element sometimes with King of Swords as well. So maybe some of you are seeking out counsel as you're preparing for the next phase or stage of a plan, okay? But overall, this is about you stepping into power, stepping into authority. Your next card, Taurus, is the Ten of Wands. And so the Ten of Wands is a card that comes up when we're ready to put something down. Like, we've completed a project. We've worked our little booties off and we are exhausted. And this project is coming to a close, or it's coming to an end. A lot of the times we're kind of glad to see it go. There can be times Ten of Wands could indicate that, this is just a completion, and maybe you're very happy about the project, but at the same time, you're not going to miss how hard you had to work, or you're not going to miss certain aspects of coming down to the end of the wire there. But Ten of Wands is putting down a burden, letting a burden go. So some of you might be preparing to have a tricky conversation with someone to draw their attention to the ways in which you feel a little bit weighed down. You feel a little bit burdened. I feel, Taurus, a lot of you feel very torn about this conversation or about this discussion, because the person that you are having this conversation with is someone that I feel could make you very miserable. You know, if they're not happy. If they're not happy, they might be able to just really, 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 really come down on you. And that could be a spouse. It could be a family situation. It could be a parent or a sibling. It could be an employer, okay? This is a general reading. So not every single Taurus is having the same exact scenario, right? You guys are having different scenarios. But you're kind of worried. And I just heard, don't forget who butters your bread. Wow. I don't know if that's a saying any of you use. It is an expression I have heard, but it's not a way I speak. It's not an expression that I use in my daily conversations. So maybe some of you are thinking this to yourself, like, this person butters my bread, like I better not rub them the wrong way, or I better not make issues. But I feel with the Ten of Wands here, Taurus, like you are at your wit's end. You are exhausted. You can't do anymore. And so you're having to have the conversation. And this is why King of Swords is telling you, if you can focus on the common ground, if you can focus on the things that you both want, if you can focus on the positive attributes and the things that you like about the person, this can soften them up for when you kind of deliver, okay, here's where we need to make some changes, right? Like they can be more receptive to that, because Ten of Wands says you can't go on like this much longer. You're going to tire out. You're going to physically tire out. Your body's just going to get to the point where it's like, I need a break. I can't do this anymore. So you're going to have to speak up in this situation. Your next card here, my darlings, for Taurus is Six of Cups. All right, this could be some kind of a reconciliation that might be happening for some of you. Now, this isn't surprising. We've got Venus in retrograde, and we've got some other planets in retrograde, and I'm not remembering them all off the top of my head. I'm not an astrology expert. I've told you guys this time and time again. I'm an intuitive reader. I read the cards intuitively. But retrogrades in general tend to kind of bring up the past, or can cause individuals to show up again, especially with Venus being in retrograde. This is going to hit a lot of people in terms of like where they're feeling secure, right? Their insecurities are coming to the surface, and we're in a very interesting and challenging time in the world right now. You know, we're dealing with something, with circumstances that the world has not seen in 100 years. And so already a lot of us are feeling a little bit insecure, or we're feeling kind of very uncertain about the future. And then we get Venus going in retrograde on top of it. So some of you could have people who are very scared, and who, like, they're remembering you, Taurus. They're remembering the stability or the security that you brought to them, or the dependability that you brought into a situation. And so they might be wanting to reach out to you. They might be trying to reach out to you and like try to be with you again. Now, this is interesting, Taurus, because this is not a feeling I typically get with Six of Cups, but for some reason I'm feeling it very strongly around this Six of Cups in your reading at this time. I feel there's something here where it's becoming more and more important to you, those of you who have children, to spend time with your children. It's kind of like that's becoming the number one thing for you. That's becoming the main thing for you. Like maybe before you were in a situation, in a work situation, where you were like, well, I gotta work because I gotta take care of my kids. I gotta work because I need to be a good provider. I gotta work because I gotta be responsible. And everything I'm doing for my kids. And I feel like you're beginning to feel like, well, what my kids really need is they need me to be around. And so some of you might be, you know, if you are someone who is working right now, You might be looking at ways of trying to cut back hours, and that might be why you have some fear or worry about bringing that up. Or if you're somebody that you're out of work because of the current circumstances, this time may have made you realize that, you know, what's really important is like to be there and to spend time together. And as we're going through the retrograde, some of you might just kind of be going over your history. You might be going over your past. You might be going over the good old days. You know, there's a certain sentimental aspect too when we see the Six of Cups. Your next card here, Taurus, is the universe. Okay, so this is very similar to the world. This is healing, clearing, ending, accomplishing karmic cycles and passing the test. Okay, this is being ready to expand, right? This is being ready to go out and have a new adventure, to have a new experience. I feel, Taurus, like a lot of you are having a very significant spiritual awakening period or process. But I feel, however much progress that you may have already made, I feel the next 4 to 6 months is going to be very significant for Taurus, for the intuitive Tauruses or the spiritual Tauruses who have been consistently working on their spirituality. I don't know. This is very specific, very specific. I just heard talk show. I don't know if any of you are like trying to get a talk show going. I don't know. I don't know what that's about. I don't know. I don't know what that's about. But I just heard talk show. Maybe you're making an appearance on a talk show. You know, like maybe if you're an intuitive, maybe you're starting to kind of make appearances or you know, I don't know, Taurus, but for some of you, there is a certain degree or level of like fame that seems to be coming up around the card as well. I feel for other ones of you, Taurus, you know, you guys are an earth sign, you guys are that earth energy, but I feel the next 4 to 6 months, like your connection to the earth is becoming a lot more intense. And so some of you are like really, and this came up, I want to say it came up in last week's reading. If it was not last week, I believe it was Taurus, about like feeling very drawn or pulled to different places, different parts of the world, as like, you know, you're feeling pulled because it's a part of your journey. It's a part of your awakening. It's a part of like you're remembering, you know, why you're here. I feel like that feeling is just getting stronger and stronger for you guys, Taurus, where you're just really feeling a need to travel, to like physically be in certain parts of the world, and you're not going to fully know why, even if you're intuitive, even if you're receiving messages from your angels and guides. You're not going to fully comprehend or understand why until you're physically in that spot, in the place where you're feeling called to go. So I do feel like a lot of you are really, really feeling called to go or to travel. Now, understandably, this is going to be delayed for many of us because of the current circumstances. But once those restrictions are lifted, Taurus, I feel a lot of you are feeling very, very drawn to go and like energetically connect with certain parts of this lovely world. So we're going to see what your spirit message is for the week. And as always, Taurus, I invite you to watch your moon sign and rising sign. Some weeks those are going to resonate with you more than others. You may need a private reading, which I'm more than happy to do for you if you want to click on the Calendly link in the schedule, in the description of the reading. Alrighty, my dear. So you have the gift. The gift, the gift, the gift. All right. So some of you may be receiving generosity from others. Some of you may be in a generous mood. But overall, this card is about the gifts we receive from the universe in terms of the experiences that we have, right? Our experiences are going to bring us tools. They're going to give us tools. They're going to give us an opportunity for growth, and they're going to make us better people. So as trying as the current situation is, and as much as you might not like, you know, having that discomfort of, you know, confronting this person or setting down these new boundaries, It's giving you very valuable tools, and it's going to end up being a blessing for many of you. And there's a strong symbolic element with this card about surprise, about joy, about excitement. So Taurus, a lot of you, as you're clearing away this difficult situation or unpleasant situation, you're beginning to feel excited about the freedom that's coming, or you're beginning to feel excited about the plans that you're beginning to form. Embrace this, because this is really what helps us to manifest, and to manifest more quickly. Again, I encourage you to watch your moon sign and rising sign videos, and if you'd like to book a private reading through Calendly, you can click on the description of the video for that. And guys, don't forget, love messages for the month and channeled angel messages for the month are linked in the description. And I am still giving away one free reading every single month. I'm giving away one free reading every month, and I'm giving away a prize every month. So I pick 2 winners. One winner will win a tarot deck for the month of May, and one winner will win a private reading. So I'm just picking people from the comments and the likes on my posts on Instagram and Facebook. So I'm going to pick one winner from Facebook and one winner from Instagram. And like I said, one person will get a free reading, a 30-minute free reading, and one person will receive the Cairo Marchetti tarot deck that I used for the love readings for May. So if you're interested in that, all you need to do is like or comment on the posts on the social media, Amethyst Angellight, Facebook and Instagram. And don't forget, guys, the lovely folks at Truly Divine are still being really, really kind and continuing to offer you guys 30% off their already very reasonable prices for natal chart analysis, love and relationship compatibility, your forecast for the year, all around astrology, all based on the astrology. Like I said, I'm not an astrologer. They were very kind. I was very impressed with their service. They reached out to me. They gave me a reading. I was very impressed. And so they were kind enough to offer you guys the unlimited 30% off with the Angel 30 code, and in turn also sponsor the channel in doing that. So if you're interested in learning more about your astrology, your planetary placements, check out the website. If it resonates with you, if it feels good to you, give them a try. I thank you guys so much for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. I'm wishing you all a wonderful week. Take care, Taurus.